Alright folks, we are working on the first gen today, and figured today I need to get all this stuff up front put back in, like tensioner belt, fan, radiator, all that stuff. And I want to go over one thing that I did buy, which, just so all of you guys, buyer discretion, be aware. And this is not a diss video of any sort or to say anything bad about him, but I'm just going to show you what I've got and what I'm working with. But I basically refuse to pay $300 to $400 for a used fan shroud off of a truck. I have a flawless non-intercooled one that have been trying to trade for an intercooled one that was in good shape, but no luck. And pretty much my only option was first gen resistance with Raul, which Raul's a very good dude, very nice. Do appreciate his time. The unfortunate part is the product is, you know, obviously it does not look good by any means. It's very poorly made, in my opinion. I understand it's fiberglass setup, but with how advanced fiberglass stuff is these days, it's just, I don't know, a lot better things can be made. These are 100% being made in Mexico, with patents floating around in the US. It would be probably illegal to do this, so I ended up buying one of these fan shrouds off of him. Again, no harm, no foul. I knew what I was buying. I had a feeling it might not be very good quality. I was hoping that they would at least fit. I am going to have to basically cut this thing up a little bit to make it fit. The tabs, first of all, you can tell that there's holes here, and he is basically insinuating you need to drill holes through here in order to bolt one up, which that's whatever, I don't care. But the little tabs on the bottom that get held in, there is no holes in that you're supposed to slide into your factory clips. This side slides in. This side on the bottom is too thick that you can't use the clip essentially, so I'm gonna have to shave that down. And then once they do slide in, it won't come forward far enough to basically even meet up where they're supposed to be. The tabs are too short. They only meet up if it's not seated. So fitment is definitely also not wonderful, but it almost looks like they just throw these things together, cut them out, and there's not any sort of quality that is being worried about at this point. They're just trying to sell them, which that's fine and dandy. I am very much holding out and hoping that Robert at First Gen Industries starts making fan shrouds, because I would like to keep this fan and not go electric fans, because I do plan on towing with the truck, and that usually doesn't wind up well. So hopefully Robert has something in the works for this here in the near future. I would pay a premium for one of those. But if anybody has a intercooled fan shroud that wants to trade for a good non-intercooled one, because I know the non-intercooled ones are also worth gold, let me know. Again, I think I've stated that before, but we're going to attempt to cut this thing up and get it on here, just so I at least don't cut myself on this fan one of these days. And that's what I'm working on today, so I'm going to start hacking this thing up and seeing what we can make out of it. Hopefully something. Just so you guys get an idea of what I'm talking about. This is on the bottom, so I guess it is fine. Just like a whole bunch of different random imperfections. Like I said, it's a fiberglass mold. But the bottoms, you can tell. You can just see how thick these things are. If it'll focus. Come on. There we go. This is one of the ones that actually slides in. This one does not. So I'm going to shave some off of this side. I don't know what they dye it with. I assume it's some sort of dye or rattle can. That's what it looks like. But yeah, we're gonna get the grinder out and start grinding away. Alright, so I wrapped up what I was doing. I literally just drilled holes through here because that's what was in there. And it is currently holding on there. That is the number one upside of this whole ordeal, is it's on. It covers majority of the fan, and it does not rub the fan. Those are all the pluses to this ordeal. The bottom is not in the clips. It's not long enough. The tabs aren't long enough. They're not placed correctly. So this is just going to have to work. Now I'm gonna put all my clamps on, fill this thing up with coolant, and what else am I gonna do today? I'd like to have something to cover this from not the far from stock guys. Something that looks good and is just a clean piece of something. I don't even care what material. Just something to cover this up, because this is definitely ugly. Yeah, I need to give a quick touch-up polish on the intake horn, because it's got little, looks like salt marks, even though this thing has not seen the road. Well, that's interesting, but that is where I'm at. Alright, I believe I'm going to mess with mounting my catch can here in a minute. I was curious on cleaning up my banner back here, and as you can tell, this looks really, really good right now. I got some stuff shipped with my polishing stuff that Frank polished for me, and he sent me some polish. He sent some aggressive and some fine polish for finishing. So Frank at Freya's Polishing, hit him up. He's a dealer for this stuff. Just ask him about the hand polish. But this stuff, like, that's gonna be hard to see, but you can see how oxidized and whatnot it looks over here versus the clean stainless over here. Definitely worth it. It's taken me like 10 minutes to do this, and we're getting close. So I don't know, it's a good option to clean up your banner on your first gen. All right, so end of the night update on Tuesday, I don't know. Because apparently I can't do anything else or turn the camera on while I'm trying to do stuff, but trying to do T4 things. Not currently working because of this spacer block. I have to have the spacer because the compressor housing hits the manifold if I don't have it, and I can't clock it to where my charge pipe will fit. So either way, charge pipe no fit. It's absolutely delightful. I'm having a great time, trust me. Very not happy about it. But this is basically just a mock-up. I finally found another manifold that should be the correct one. I'm not sure that my situation will fit or anything, but it is properly gated, I believe. So he's supposed to send me pictures tomorrow. If I don't end up with one, then ignore everything I'm saying right now. But he's supposed to send me pictures in the morning to confirm, and then he's going to ship it. So, but yeah, the spacer also throws off the gate pipe completely. It's not even remotely close. It basically throws off everything. Everything would be completely wrong. So that is absolutely delightful, and I still had a leak from this freeze plug, and I think it might still leak. I've yet to decide if it's going to. But I went ahead and just put it back in after trying to machine it a little bit more. And I'm not going to put coolant back in it until tomorrow because it's like 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night and I'm ready to go home. But that's what I got finished up today. So messing with turbo stuff, messing with coolant things. But Brett's down here doing something, so let's check that out. Alright, and Brett was working away tonight on painting the block. And it's going to be hard to notice, or at least see it until you see it in person, but see if you can see the flake at all. This is the color match paint to his truck, so there's a good bit of flake in this paint on the block too, which is always neat. Most of the time, don't go into attention, or the attention to detail is not that high, but we got some shiny stuff on here this go around. It's turning out good. Got the oil drains put on for, well, got the front one punched out, so in the future whenever he goes compounds, don't have to do that then. It's already on there. And cap that off, and gonna be waiting on some parts here to see if we can't get this thing together by the end of the week. To see if we can maybe set it in this weekend. That'd be ideal, but it's gonna be pushing it if we don't have parts, obviously. But happy with progress so far?
Yeah, it's coming together. Last 10% is going to take a good 3 weeks, like it usually does. So
yeah,
truck's done. Now it's got to put the rest of the long block together and slap it in and see what it does.
Yeah, so stuff's starting to get real. Hopefully, we got a goal. The next goal is to obviously get the front case on, get the cam in it, all that good stuff. So piece by piece, they all come together very similar. But that's gonna wrap it up. Looks like it's 10:17. It's what, Tuesday night? So we're gonna call it good. I'm gonna get the truck back outside and clean up all my stuff and go home. So hopefully I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna be working on stuff. All right, it is now, what, I think Wednesday night. And turns out we've got a manifold situation figured out. So with that being said, I want to show you guys the differences, and that not all manifolds are created equal. Even if they are the exact same brand, the exact same everything, there is a difference. And I think for SVE guys, it is very crucial to pay attention to that. I have not proven that yet, but I do plan to prove that point here. So this is my old style. There's my old manifold essentially. I don't know if you can see in there, but the gate port is right there. So look at this side, it's right on top. This is a T4 gated Steed, and it is gated by Steed. It's an older style, and it is gated right by the foot, and it is not divided all the way up. So there's crossover there, which you can weld a divider in. They said that was just fine to do, and that's what they recommend a lot of people. And then on the truck right now is a new style gated Steed. It's labeled on their website, and it's gated, or it is labeled 12 valve T4 angled, and then gated 24 valve or 12 valve manifold, basically gated twin turbo 24 valve or 12 valve manifold. Sorry, there's a whole bunch of words in there, but it mentions twin turbo, it mentions all that, which actually is important because I don't have to use a spacer on this one to clear the compressor housing. So that is a huge deal. But let's look at where the ports are at. Notice that it is offset over here. There's a port right there that is CNC machined in like that. Let's see if you can see it now that you know where. Okay, so you can see it in there. And then this one is kind of straight down, but it's kind of got a taper to it. It's like, I don't know, everything seems a lot more like the flow would work a lot better. And it is not just sitting in the foot of the manifold, which is partially what I'm after, I would say. So the only issue I'm running into right now is this hole. The stud or the bolt will not go in. So I believe with these you kind of have to use studs, at least on this one hole. So I'm going to take this back off and put studs in the in the head. We're going to try and put that back on just to verify fitment of everything. And once we do that, we will hang the manifold turbo and the hot pipe just to make sure all of that's fitting fine. Obviously with the gate on the opposite side here, my wastegate pipe to my hot pipe will need to be remade. It is not in the same spot. Obviously it's on the bottom side of my other one, and our coolant lines are pretty close too. All that stuff's going to have to be dealt with and figure out what I'm going to do to make this work the best. So that's where I'm at right now. Brett is currently messing with his engine and getting stuff ready for that, putting oil squirters in, putting tappets in, all that good stuff. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, we're gonna give you guys an end of the evening update. We worked on Brett's engine a little bit. The cam is in it, oil squirters are in, tappets are in, the pan's on it, the front timing case is on it, the whole nine. The only thing that's not in it right now is the oil pump, but making very good progress on that thing, and it looks great. Making progress over here. We got our manifold on, everything's tightened down. We put our ports for EGT and drive pressure in, and just looking at some stuff there. I am also trying to figure out what I'm going to do with these heater core lines. I mean, this is just an absolute conundrum. This is over here. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. I cannot wait to have a 24 valve head on this thing and not mess with this dumb, you know what, that's what I'm going to say, that. Otherwise, a lot of mock-up stuff is looking good. Obviously, the wastegate is nowhere near where it's going to be because it's on the opposite side. So, I'm hoping maybe we can be able to come out of the gate and just come right in and then integrate into this elbow. Obviously, this will be bolted up and not really in the way, but I'm hoping that is the case, and we can just run it right into there and maybe somehow just cap this off and it not look absolutely terrible. Which honestly, if it does, I really don't care at this point. But that stuff's looking good. The manifold is on for good, I would say. I need to, we'll be swapping stuff around manifold turbo wise, but this is all just for mock-up, make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. With the T4 manifold, just a little bit different, putting stuff in a tad bit different location. I just really wanted to ensure that all of my stuff is where it was, or as close as it can be to where it was. So next step is gonna be, we're gonna put the correct charger on the manifold and put our charge pipe on, ensure our charge pipe is good here. And after that, I would really like to get turbo drains on so I can see where I can run this heater core line, because I believe I'm going to run this 90 off of this here, so I can run the line below the manifold and everything, because I just simply don't have room at this point. So that's what I'm working with. We're having lots and lots of fun. It's 11 o'clock on Wednesday, so we are ready to pack it up and go home. You guys keep on hacking away at your projects of any sort. It is winter time, and I'm sure you are feeling as rough as I'm looking right now. I'm tired, but you gotta get up, do it again the next day, and hack away at this thing. So hopefully very shortly I should have my manifold charger ready to bolt up and hang everything and see what this thing will do. So I'm very excited. I hope you guys are too, and hopefully you guys learned a little bit about the Steed Speeds and different versions of them. I wish I had all the different versions of them to show you, because the comps are they're a little bit different as well. They use this style kind of gate-ish. It's just placed different on the manifold. There's lots of cool stuff. So if you guys do get the time, it's definitely worth looking at if you're going to gate something on the proper manifold. Don't just pick one because it's cheap and then be mad whenever it underperforms. You got to think about how air flows through those things and how the efficiency and the turbulence could affect things. I learned firsthand. I thought it was going to be no big deal, and I learned the hard way. On common rails and stuff, it wouldn't have affected it at all. One of the guys I was talking to, we were talking about it, and I was like, well, it's 500 RPM spool difference. Like, that's huge to me. And he was asking us, I was like, what RPM is it spooling at? I'm like, 2300. He's like, well, what's wrong with that? I'm like, it was fully lit by 18. He was just kind of laughing, because he's like, oh, my converter flashes to 2300. Like, it's 2300 stall. Like, I would have never known that. So maybe it's useful information to everybody, but it does get affected, and I do want to make that very obvious. So I'm gonna make this hopefully as drivable as possible and see if we retain anything. Probably, since I went bigger on some stuff, we probably won't retain anything, and it's gonna do the same crap over and over. So anyway, I'm gonna get off of here, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, it's Saturday night in the shop. Brett's down there working. We'll get caught up with him real quick after I go over what I've been working on. And although it might not look like much, have been getting stuff done. You guys saw the other night we put our manifold on and whatnot, and it still kind of doesn't look like much, but I've gotten some stuff done. I figured out a way to route my heater hose to the right. I used a 90 that I used to have down here on the lower heater hose, and I did my drive pressure. I hooked it up to the rife block, as well as made my new coil. Obviously one of these lines is pushing up on it right now, but we got that done, and I had to I used the same line, but I cut ends off of it and had to rebend it and move where the coil was at, because with the gate coming where it was directly in the way. And this at least moves it back away from the gate, and this is able to run under it to where the gate pipe can still maneuver around. And then we got our EGT probe ran. It's hard to see. Take the compressor cover off. It's tucked down in there. So we got that stuff done. The next thing I need to do is pull the gate back off, unfortunately, because I need to rotate the top to the right. And basically, to do that on the truck, I would basically ruin the threads, is the problem with these aluminum threads on this. If it's not in a vise and you don't have it perfect, it pretty much can ruin it pretty easily, and I'd rather not do that. So I'd rather take it off and do it the right way. So I might do that tomorrow. I'm not done for the night, but I also don't want to do it without a little bit of help. Zig adjusted it for me last time, and I would like to not mess it up. So I got that stuff handled and situated. I hooked up the rest of my lines to the rife block on this side. We got our Atmo line running up here, and I've got my regulator out for the gate debating on where I'm going to move that, because the crankcase vent is kind of in the way of where that's at now, so need to do that. And that is pretty much what I've been messing with. As far as this heater line, if you end up running a gate on one of these trucks and you still have a 12 valve head, it's going to be tough to route the heater lines between the gate and the injection lines. If you ever have to pull injectors, it's going to be kind of a pain with where these are routed. But unless you can figure out how to route them under the manifold or something like that, this is basically your option. I'm going to have to I'm going to go get another 90 for this top line to route it over, and then going to just zip tie some stuff so it's all out of the way. But heat wrap is going to be your friend, whatever this stuff is. I got the box over here. It's 1 inch diameter to go over that 5/8 line. DEI fire sleeve is what it's called, so just so it doesn't burn through the manifold. And that has basically been what I messed with. To finish up the heater hose, I need one fitting, and it shows up Monday, and I'll be done with messing with the heater lines. So that should wrap things up, and then hopefully turbo stuff will show up Monday, and I can finally get the kit on and start it, do a hot retorque, and get that taken care of so we can drive it and make sure everything's good. But you need to see how Brett's coming along. He is close to being able to put the engine in the truck. He's putting his harness on right now, so we'll check that out. All right, Brett's engine is very much looking like an engine. Looks good. It's got the billet freeze plugs in it and everything. Fresh D&J HP reman head. Nothing crazy as far as valve porting goes or anything. This is an HP reman. It's got fresh springs, new valve seats. What are they? The thread-in freeze plugs. So, and most importantly, it is not cracked. So hopefully you pick up some power, or what?
Open the clear 800, 825.
If it doesn't, I'm actually gonna commit arson. But yeah, did a lot of XRP line things today. Made a whole return line system because his factory stuff has disappeared and we don't know where it's at. So we ended up making something, turned out pretty good. Found a 180 for a -6 laying over on the other shop, luckily. But it's coming together. Putting the harness on it right now. ECM's all on. So when is the goal to set this in? Tomorrow?
Goal is to set it in and maybe get oil pressure tomorrow and start it Tuesday or Wednesday.
So it's very close. The Mega should run very soon. He's got a couple random pieces we got to deal with. He's got a HX40 to HE351 adapter that we're going to need to get because he bought a used 2nd gen T3 manifold, and that is what he's going to have on basically for manifold. It's going to be a 2nd gen swap with the stock appearing on it, and they're going to make a charge pipe for it and stuff. Is your trans together, or do you still got to do it?
Trans is together. All the clutches looked awesome, so we reused everything. It's new seals.
I love it.
Repainted it.
Yes.
It looked pretty good.
Good stuff. So that is where this thing's at. Hopefully the next clip you guys see of this is it sitting in the truck and then us trying to get it started. So should be cool. All right, Brett. What are we doing? It's happening.
Let's tap this puppy in tonight on a Sunday night.
God, that's commitment. But everything is on. His powder coated adapter plate, I must say, that is a very nice touch. I'm a fan. But it's ready to go in. So at least set it in tonight, trans tomorrow, and then it's just the hooking everything up. New manifold to be in here, what, tomorrow, the next day?
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, so. Gonna be making smoke this week is what's gonna happen, for sure. I'm excited.
Excited. It looks good. It's gonna run good.
There you go. You heard it from him. It's gonna do it. But I'm gonna call it a night because I already pulled the truck out. But Brett is gonna set this thing in here right quick and try not to scratch all of his pretty paint, which ideally shouldn't be too awful, but we'll see how it goes.